Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be discussing the Titan Crystal because in 2 weeks time Titan Crystal is going to change. And obviously everything that I say, well, not everything, part of what I'm going to say in this video is going to be kind of a speculation because there is no official leak or official announcement from Kabam about the contents of the upcoming Titan Crystal. However, Titan Crystal always follows a fairly specific trend of bringing in 4 new champions that are recently released and 2 champions of old that are not available 7 stars. Almost always that is the case. And we can kind of predict what's going to happen based on which 7-star champions have randomly appeared in the game very recently. And obviously the release of prior champions. So we have 2 weeks until the change. So it's going to happen during this month. And therefore, with this update, we have seen a couple new 7-stars added to the game. Now, if we scroll down, one 7-star that we're automatically going to eliminate is Weapon X. That is likely going to be the Mega Whale reward for July 4th. BAM has done this before, where if you buy all the offers, you can get one of the exclusive champions. Have a hunch that for July 4th, it's going to be Wolverine Weapon X. Now, moving on, though, we have a new addition in Symbiote Supreme. Therefore, it is highly likely that we're going to see this champion in the upcoming Titan Crystal. Because he just now appeared as a 7-star, just in time for this change. And then there is one more new addition, which is Nova. So, Nova is also an interesting choice. Both of these champions are definitely not bad by any means. Both of these champions, I think, are solid pulls because they do have a place in game. Nova can be a very annoying attacker. Part of his charm lies in a high Sig ability, though, because that extends all buff duration and interacts with a lot of defensive nodes, making him a lot harder to fight against. There is some offensive use for Nova as well. I actually have Nova as a rank 5. One of the champions that I kind of wished I had ascended. Guess that can wait now, but we'll see about that. At the same time, would I be happy to pull Nova from a Titan Crystal? I'm not that sure. So that's, to be seen. And Symbiote Supreme, I have never been the biggest fan of, but he definitely is seeing some metagame play as well. And I think he's one of those champions that does relatively well or just fine unawakened also. So that is a bigger upside there for sure. But we obviously need to talk about how exactly the Titan Crystal is going to look like, which champions are going to be entering the basic pool and leaving the Titan Crystal, and which champions are going to be getting added to the Titan Crystal overall. So how that crystal is going to look like. First things first, who is going to be leaving the Titan Crystal. And that is going to be Morbius. And that's going to be Chill. And that's going to be Werewolf by Night, Kushala, Penny Parker, and Havoc. So these champions will be getting added to the basic pool. Which in my opinion is, a very nice buff to the base pool, because there are definitely quite a few champions that I'd like to pull. I'd like to have a 7-star Penny, especially if I can dupe her. 7-star Havoc, absolutely. Already have 7-star Kushala, which I'm very happy with. But also, Werewolf by Night is an absolutely a great doggo that everybody should be happy getting a 7-star. And then dupes on Shield and Morbius wouldn't be the worst thing either. So ultimately, for me personally, I think, this definitely strengthens the basic crystal. Now, when it comes to joining the Titan Crystal, obviously the last 4 featured champions, which will be Prowler, Spider-Punk, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Silver Sable, and the 2 champions that we already discussed, Symbiote Supreme and Nova. And honestly, this, I think, could be a conglomeration of one of the weakest Titan Crystals that we have seen to date overall. Because I think the quality of the champions exiting the crystal is definitely, yet again, better than the champions entering the crystal. Spider-Punk has failed to make a massive impact on the game for sure. Prowler is actually doing quite well, and there are people doing some crazy good things with Prowler. Negasonic, she will have a place in the game for sure, but that place isn't going to be like battlegrounds or much of the competitive play. She counters all the skill champions great. She's probably going to be kicking stuff up in Alliance War and some quests, but she's definitely far less desirable than she initially appeared to be. And then we have Silver Sable, a champion released so bad that hardly any content creators have anything good to say about her. And then we have, again, Symbiote Supreme and Nova, which, are solid pulls, but nothing to rave about Titan Crystal. And all that joining, underwhelming Ironheart, Blade, Destroyer is alright. Dust is alright. Luke Cage is alright. Serpent is obviously a meta defender. And then we have like Thing and Cersei as well. Yeah, I don't know. I might be saving Titan shards. I might just be saving Titan shards. But then again, the champions entering the Titan Crystal now, they're going to be there for like 6 to 9 months, 6 to 7 months. So I definitely need to decide what I'm going to be doing with this, because there's a whole lot of champions that I don't really want to get from this crystal. On a personal note. And overall, yeah. I think, looking at this, we have to acknowledge that champions released this year in between White Tiger, Bullseye, Dust, Ironheart, Destroyer, and Serpent, Silver Sable, Negasonic, Crawler, and Spiderpunk. How none of them are awful, but they're definitely a step back in desirability from previous year's champions. Unquestionably, this year has not been great so far with the champion releases. Vast majority of them are mediocre. Obviously, there are people who like them. Obviously, there are people who do some decent to good things with them. But only really, really notable additions to the game really have been like on the defensive side. There's nothing kind of like meta offensive. How Bullseye, Serpent, obviously, that are, tremendous defenders. And Onslaught, Onslaught was last champion of the last year, I believe. White Tiger is tremendously fun. Definitely not a must-have champion. That's kind of cool too. Ironheart is nowhere to be seen. Destroyer, again, is primarily a defender. And, not the toughest Mystic defender either. Silver Sable is complete garbage. And then the offensive additions of Spiderpunk, Prowler, and Negasonic are alright. So, I suppose that should warrant a separate video in itself. But I would definitely be interested in what do you guys think as well. Will you just be saving Titan shards? Hoping for the next champions to be added to be better than the ones leaving? But again, keep in mind, Silver Sable, for instance, and Nova are still going to be in this crystal for a really long time. And the champions that we're going to be losing are going to be Onslaught, Bullseye, and Red Skull, which I would argue are 3 of the most desirable champions in the Titan Crystal. So, unless the new additions to the Titan Crystal are actually good, Titan Crystal is set to become even worse, potentially. And that kind of defeats the purpose of having a Titan Crystal, I'd say. I mean, it's a source, it's a way to acquire the newest 7-stars released, the newest champions released in the game, but it was built up to be like this crystal where pretty much every pull is going to be usable and somewhat good. And it certainly isn't. As somebody who has pulled Thing, as somebody who has pulled Cersei, somebody who has pulled Blade, and then some of the less hyped featured champions, I can absolutely tell you that, Titan Crystal isn't a can't miss crystal at all. Titan Crystal isn't even a, you're probably going to get something good crystal at the moment. Because, it might just be my personal luck as well, because I haven't pulled Bullseye, Onslaught, or Red Skull, which are 3 of the most desired champions I have in this side. I haven't pulled Serpent, or Dust, or Ironheart, which are 3 of the newer champions there, which I would kind of like to mess around with. And here I haven't pulled Werewolf by Night either. And ironically also Penny or Havoc, which would be like more, also some of the more desired pulls in the Titan Crystal. So, I don't know. Titan Crystal isn't looking too spicy, at least to me. Let me know what are your thoughts, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the